Did you know an infestation of lice can be deadly? Out of Tucson, Arizona, Sandra Kraykovich, 38, and her mother, Elizabeth Kraykovich, 64, are being charged with first-degree murder in the death of Sandra's 9-year-old little girl. When Sandra worked, the grandmother, Miss Elizabeth, watched the 13-year-old, the 11-year-old, and the 9-year-old. So they knew what was going on with the children. They knew that all three of them had a bad case of head lice. Matter of fact, on March 15th, when the 9-year-old started getting worse, she started having fever, sore throat, headache, started having problems breathing, and she was having problems sitting upright. They were talking in text messages about whether or not they should send this child to the hospital, take her to the hospital to get her help, but ultimately decided not to because she had such a bad case of head lice, and they didn't want to deal with that on top of everything else. This 9-year-old's health was so bad that even Sandra's boyfriend tried to get Sandra to carry this child to the hospital, and she ultimately refused to take her. A week later, on March 22nd, this 9-year-old little girl went unresponsive. 911 was called, the paramedics arrived, and they started working on her. They did not succeed in bringing her back. But they did note that once they had stopped working on her, that the bugs started covering her face. The cause of death of this little girl was anemia, with complications brought on by malnutrition. So this child was not getting enough nutrition as it was, and on top of that, she was getting fed on 24/7 by these little bugs that literally sucked the life out of her until she becomes so anemic that her body just gave up. They both ultimately knew that this child was sick. Neither one of them wanted to carry this child to the hospital and deal with the consequences of having such a bad head lice infestation. For less than $20, this child's life could have been saved. That's the cost of a head lice treatment. The only time that they ever tried to treat this head lice was by using mouthwash, and that was unsuccessful. Both the mother and the grandmother could have saved this child's life. They failed her completely.